Toronto's organizational blueprint for 2025-26 largely hinges on internal growth, not high-priced external acquisitions outside of Brandon Ingram. That internal growth imperative makes Gradey Dick's third year and Jacobe Walter's second season not just developmental leads, but strategic necessities. Emerging players must deliver, or patience will wane quickly in a wide-open yet low-key competitive Eastern Conference environment. That also places pressure on Darko Rajakovic and the Raptors coaching staff to optimize minutes and roles early in training camp. Media coverage highlights that Toronto's future hinges on nurturing its youth rather than depending on splashy moves. That makes Dick's, Walter's, and Barnes' development integral to the team's trajectory. Gradey Dick enters his third NBA season with the classic lottery pick profile: prototypical wing length, perimeter creation upside, and enough defensive tools to develop a two-way role. In year two, he delivered flashes of scoring punch, occasional bursts in the mid-teens on respectable efficiency, but he also showed limitations in off-ball timing, decision-making in traps, and spacing discipline. The leap to year three is often where wings either cement themselves as reliable rotational 3-and-D pieces or fade into specialized bench redundancy. The third-year make-or-break narrative is especially potent now given Toronto's need for youth. If Dick upgrades his catch-and-shoot efficiency, refines his off-ball movement, and improves defensive discipline, he could transform from rotational hopeful to foundational piece. Conversely, failure to make tangible improvements, especially in his three-point accuracy or defensive timing, could lead to diminished minutes or trade speculation. Media coverage from Raptors beat writers already frames this as a big, pivotal season for Dick's standing with the team. In that sense, his developmental arc is less about boom or bust and more about trajectory alignment with the franchise's needs. Raptors beat writers and analysts have been vocal about the urgency surrounding Gradey Dick. In articles profiling players under pressure next season, Dick consistently ranks among the top names, emphasizing that the narrative isn't just internal, it's public. That exposure creates a dual challenge. He must perform amid heightened scrutiny, and the team must afford him enough opportunities to grow. The narrative pressure doesn't exist in a vacuum. Combined with Toronto's limited flexibility, it forces front office choices that prioritize skill refinement and measurable progress. The coaching staff is likely to lean on analytics tools, tracking catch-and-shoot percentages, contested versus uncontested tries, to dial in his minutes and game flow. These analytics plus media-driven expectations add a strategic overlay. Dick doesn't just need to score. He needs to score efficiently and strategically. This kind of performance tracking often separates developmental hope from actionable evaluations. Essentially, Dick's narrative arc is closely tied to how quickly and visibly he can demonstrate consistent two-way competency. As the 19th pick in the 2024 draft, Jacobe Walter arrived in Toronto with scoring instincts and a reputation for quick, aggressive guard play from his Baylor days, where he earned Big 12 Freshman of the Year honors. His rookie year was a tale of situational flashes, impressive bursts in both Raptors 905 and occasional NBA minutes, but also timing and consistency questions. The second year for a player like Walter is when definition emerges. Will he develop into a reliable three-level scorer or linger as a high-variance bench drone? This year, his success will hinge on smoothing shot selection, strengthening his shooting splits, and delivering defensive discipline during high-leverage stints. Toronto needs him to evolve into a spark plug who can either shoulder secondary creation duties or function as a reliable catch-and-shoot threat off the bench. His Baylor resume and scoring instincts project well to modern NBA spacing demands if polished. Raptor analysts suggest that if Walter can command shorter rotations with efficient bursts, he'll quickly gain the coaching staff's trust. For him, growth isn't optional, it's fundamental to unlocking more dynamic bench units. Dick and Walter's developmental arcs intersect in the fabric of Toronto's offensive scheme: catch-and-shoot spacing, intelligent cutting, and versatile defense. The Raptors require wings and guards who synergize rather than compete, players who absorb Barnes' gravity rather than collide with it. If Dick can reliably stretch the floor and Walter can deliver quick scoring bursts, they both facilitate an offense where Barnes operates as a creator rather than a jump shooter. In effect, they convert Barnes' gravitational pull into operational spacing, reducing defensive crowding and enabling kickouts or lobs. Without their spacing, defenses can pack the paint on Barnes and dare him to beat them from the mid-range or through ISO. Raptors rhetoric repeatedly emphasizes that complementary shooting and movement are linchpins for the offense. Thus, success for Dick and Walter isn't just about their individual progress, it's about the coherence they bring to Toronto's attack. Their roles are intertwined, and their fit collectively shapes the team's floor and ceiling. Scottie Barnes' trajectory is the critical axis upon which the Raptors' 2025-26 season pivots. Entering his 5th year, he already projects as an all-rookie star turned developmental standout, bringing an attractive blend of length, feel, defensive acumen, and playmaking to the floor. In 2024-25, he produced high teens point averages, robust rebound and assist rates, and consistently impacted defense via rim pressure and versatility. Yet, the missing puzzle piece has been efficient, 3-level scoring, and especially perimeter shooting that punishes closeouts and maximizes spacing. If Barnes elevates his scoring into the mid-20s while maintaining elite defensive presence, Toronto's ceiling shifts dramatically. This leap would enforce defenses to stay honest, and in turn, open up cleaner opportunities for Dick and Walter, and simplify read and react flow. When Barnes becomes a legitimate scoring threat and he's creating fulcrum, the gravity he commands forces opponents to adjust, slowing rotations, tilting help defense, and vacating perimeter or short corner zones. That dynamic directly benefits Dick, who would find cleaner looks on the wing, and Walter, who could operate off flares or catch and drives with fewer double teams. This gravitational effect simplifies offensive reads, allowing playmaking to flow through Barnes without requiring oppressive individual isolation for others. Conversely, if Dick and Walter can't convert on the looks created by Barnes' attention, spacing tightens and defensive pressure resumes, reducing offensive clarity. For each player, clear growth markers are essential. Gradey Dick's pathway includes improving his catch-and-shoot three-point percentage, ideally rising from the low 30s into the 37 to 40% range, while enhancing off-ball reads and consistency in rotations. Jacobe Walter's Year 2 benchmarks include boosted shooting splits, smarter shot selection under pressure, and defensive awareness that strengthens rather than disrupts bench integrity. Summer League and G League flashes should translate to sustained mini-runs and rotations, earning trust. Scottie Barnes needs to hone his outside shooting, particularly three-point and pull-up mid-range, and deepen his decision-making and pick-and-roll reads to efficiently elevate scoring. He also must maintain his defensive versatility to remain elite on that end. Tracking these measurable improvements will determine whether the team's vision transforms from blueprint to reality. Risks are numerous and significant. Toronto's fiscal and asset constraints mean failure from this core group could lead to stagnation in a competitive Eastern Conference. If Dick fails to elevate his efficiency or defensive discipline, his minutes and role could shrink rapidly. If Walter continues to be inconsistent or lapses defensively, bench units may stagnate. And if Barnes' offensive leap stalls or his perimeter shooting regresses, the offense risks reverting to isolation playbooks with diminishing results. Injuries or role ambiguity could further compound those risks. More troublingly, without breakout growth, the Raptors may lack both the draft capital and trade flexibility to retool. Analysts caution that in today's NBA, unfulfilled potential in your draft picks often leads to pair paralysis and lost seasons. The stakes are high, and the margin between breakthrough and breakdown is narrower than fans may realize. If Scottie Barnes solidifies his superstar potential, all NBA level defense plus scoring elevation, and Gradey Dick and Jacobe Walter mature into reliable spacing and scoring enablers, Toronto would achieve modern core balance. You'd have a gravitational two-way star attracting attention, flanked by young, cost-controlled perimeter threats who punish rotations at 3 levels. That internal growth spells playoff traction, improved seeding, deeper postseason impact, and renewed financial and strategic optionality. It would also strengthen the front office's hand in future trades or extensions, and potentially shift the Raptors into true contender status without sacrificing flexibility. This was your boy DFlow, and I'll see you next video.